Guys, welcome back to my channel. So my name is Becca, popularly called Mayowa, and you're welcome to another episode or another video from Real Talk with Becca. So today, what are we talking about? 6 reasons why godly relationship may not end up in marriage. And before I begin, I would like to say that this is a very emotional topic for me. I don't know why. Maybe during the course of preparation for this video, during my research and everything, I came across stories. Even in the Bible, I came across something that was very strong and that struck me. And I just want you to know, if your relationship just broke, or your godly relationship is shaken, I want you to know that my prayers are with you and my heart is with you, and I pray that the will of God be done still in your life. Okay, so let's jump right into the reasons why the will of God may not end up in marriage. There are two ways to the will of God thing per se. There are two ways, or there are two perspectives to it. And one is some persons who believe that somebody is God's will for them, but in the actual sense, it's not the will of God for them. Maybe they did not hear right, or maybe they thought they heard God, which is not it. Well, if you want to ensure that you avoid that, I made a video about that recently. Ensure you check that video. It will make you understand this one better. I'm making this particular video because of the comment I got from that, because people requested that I make a video on why the will of God may not end up in marriage, because I mentioned that in that video. So that's why we are here. So ensure you see it and you will understand fully the point I'm going to be talking about. So the very first reason why the will of God may not end up in marriage is because of personality differences. When you start to notice some characters and behaviors in your partner that you are not formally used to, or that you are not really cool with, before you actually accept that, it's going to take a while, right? But if you don't manage it well, it will now lead to something you are supposed to learn how to deal with. Then you begin to fight it, and if you're not managing it well, it will lead to fight. It's going to lead to fight. And if you do not really calm yourself, or if you do not really bring yourself to the point of understanding that you guys are from two different backgrounds, so you don't expect that everything that you want, or the personality and the character that you want to see from your partner, is what you are going to see. No, you learn to manage each other, you learn to accept, and you learn to cope with personality differences. For example, while I was courting my husband, actually, I noticed that he's a type that eats fast. And personally, I don't like people eating fast. I'm of the opinion, like, where you rushing to? Like, can we calm down? Can we calm down? The food is not running right. So he eats fast, and I didn't really like that. But I did not fight it. In short, the second outing we actually had during that time, and he was eating fast again, what I just said to him was, "Oh, you are so real. You could not even hide this part of you." He said, "Ah, this is me. This is me." Okay, I didn't like it, right? But this is who he is. Even if I'm going to change him, or even if he's going to change, it will not be immediate, right? So any negative thing that I might have said during that date is not going to change anything. So why not just do it better? Just manage it better. So that's what I mean by personality differences. And this is not the same thing as compromising your values. It is not the same thing as compromising your values at all. Like, what are your relationship values? Is it part of, okay, I must attend church service every Sunday, and a weekly service is a must for me? And then your partner is saying, "Oh, I think that just once a week, or just Sunday service is okay, you don't really need to." I'm just putting that example, right? You know what I mean by values. There are some values that you cannot back down on. That is not the same thing as personality differences. Don't compromise your values still. Stand on your values, but personality differences can be managed. You should not prioritize the things you can work on the things you cannot work on. I would say that your values are the things that you cannot put in your partner, but personality differences can be worked on, and they are trivial things. So the second point why the will of God may not end up in marriage is one-sided relationship. When your relationship is one-sided, when it is just one party that is always bringing the energy, that is always bringing the fire and everything, when energies do not match up, it can tend to weary the party that is always the one spearheading everything. So relationship is already one-sided, and the other party that is always bringing the fire will get weary as time goes by if the second person is not matching up. It is you and I, it is two persons with God involved. So the two of us have to meet at a point. We have to there has to be a meeting point. I cannot be the only one bringing all the strength all the time. When one is weak, the other will lift up. So if you're not bringing energy, like if you're not bringing some energy, how will you expect to, how do you want to lift up the hand of your partner when he is weary or when she is weary? So one-sided relationship may be the reason why the will of God will not end up in marriage. So it is not enough to want a relationship, or it is not enough to want a godly relationship. You want to make sure that you go into that godly relationship with good energy. So the third point I'm going to be mentioning why the will of God may not end up in marriage is opinionated partner. That's a very strong one right there. It is not only in marriage that we compromise on some stances, right? It is not only in marriage that you shift ground just to meet the other person along the way, or just to match up things, or just to make sure that you guys are on the same plate. Even from relationship we stand, like learn to see through the lenses of your partner. If you're a type that you always want your way to prevail, then there's going to be trouble. Even though it is a godly marriage, godly relationship, even though you both heard God that yes, he's my husband, yes, she is my wife. If a partner is opinionated, you're not seeing from the eyes of your partner, you're not seeing from the eyes of your wife to be or your husband to be, and you are not meeting anything, you just want your way to always prevail, there will be trouble, and such a relationship can break before even leading to marriage. So the fourth point I'm going to be mentioning on that the topic why the will of God in quote may not end up in marriage is if a party or if a partner has deviated from God. While I was in the university, there was this brother and this sister. They were in relationship, and all of a sudden we noticed that this brother was not coming to church anymore. He has been brainwashed. Something has happened. He's no longer the brother we used to know. He was no longer in faith. Obviously, the sister was still trying to see what she could do. She would go, speak with him, everything. This brother was not going back on his new decisions, and that was the end of that godly relationship. So the fifth point I'm going to be mentioning why the will of God may not end up in marriage is enemy at war. Yes, enemy at war. The enemy does not want the will of God to be established in our lives, right? Any good thing that the enemy sees that is happening, he's going to fight it. You have to know when it is the enemy in action. You have to know when to fight, and you need to know how to fight the right fight, so that you do not end up fighting your partner all the time thinking it is them. When the enemy start magnifying things that do not really matter, this is why she's talking this way, why is she loud, why is she too quiet, and all of those things. When the enemy start magnifying those things that are not really important to you, you must know that is the enemy in action and not your partner. So fight the right fight the enemy and not your partner. So the last but not the least point I am going to be mentioning under why the will of God may not end up in marriage is perhaps God just permitted you to enter that relationship because he wanted you to learn something from it. Maybe because of the idol in your heart. Perhaps he permitted you to just enter that relationship for a lesson or two. In conclusion, I want you to know that if you are not yet married, you are still very much single. Even though you are engaged, you've been proposed to, you've had your introduction, or you've set dates. If you have not said, yes, I do, and if you have not been pronounced newest husband and wife, know that you are still much single. Okay? And one thing I would like to encourage everybody, even if you're in a relationship leading to marriage, or you're looking forward to entering a relationship that will lead to marriage, I want you to always say this prayer point. It's something I always say while I was in school, and I can tell you for free, God answers prayers. And God hears us. God hears prayers. So I will always pray to God that, Father, even if it remains little for me to say yes I do, even if it remains a second for me to say just say yes I do, or God sees that that's not the best for me, it should scatter. Like it should, even if you are before the pastor that was supposed to join us together, it should scatter. I know that prayer sounds unreal, or like, do you know what you're talking about? But my sister, I do. So please keep praying that prayer. Keep praying that prayer. It's a bonus for you if it doesn't scatter anyways. So you can never go wrong with prayers. Just say your own prayer. God knows how to orchestrate things to work in our favor and in our good. Just pray your prayer. There is no dangerous prayer when it comes to marriage. Trust me, you don't want to miss it in marriage. You don't want to miss that step. My prayers are with you, and I pray that everybody looking to God for a godly home one day, I pray in the name of Jesus that God will bring it your way and you will be happy. You will look back to the days you pray about your marriage and you would be thankful. You will give God the praise in the name of Jesus. Thank you, everybody. Are you subscribed yet? Because if you are not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please go ahead and subscribe now. Anyway, ensure you like, share to your circle. I'm sure somebody in your contact will need this video if you do not need it. So like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'm going to see you in my next video.